So, like I said, I'm trying not to drink this year, man. Almost gave in this past weekend, and I didn't
You didn't
do
have
it.
to drink?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, bro.
I
Like,
had to
what I'm
drink
saying?
tonight.
I was gonna call you. I was gonna call you and tell you, but I was like, I'll just tell Birdman next time I talk to him. But like, what I'm saying? I had hit Josh because me and Josh had been talking about it. But nah, like, bro, I'm 3 weeks, no alcohol, and like, and combined with also like I do a lot of intermittent fasting, not intentionally, but I just some days I wake up, I'll be cooling. I'll be like, I'm not hungry, I'm not gonna eat.
You know what's
And
funny?
what's up?
I do that some days on the mostly the weekends. I can't do it during the week. On the weekends, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat. I stop eating at 8, and I won't eat again until 12, 1 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, you eat. I'm not hungry. I'm fine. I'm doing it intentionally. Like I don't want to eat. It's too
Yeah.
many benefits not to do it.
Right. And that's what I'm
At
saying.
least
We
once or twice a week.
man, we was talking about some of those benefits today, me and my big brother. Like I said, I was, what I'm saying, a lot of times I'll fast like like without thought. And I think that's like the best because it ain't really affecting me too much. I ain't thinking about food all day. And plus I drive trucks. And then you know what I'm saying? What I was saying initially though was I'm already starting to see physical changes, like in combination with like, working out. And I remember like, in the past where I was trying to like concentrate on and had goals and stuff like that. Anytime I would feel a strong urge, I would just work out. I would do something, like some push-ups again or something like that. And I tried to make that like my crutch and shit. But yeah, dog, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing changes and it's beneficial for me. And it's nothing wrong with anybody else doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? But man, I'm seeing some changes and I'm just kind of like, shit, that's what's up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
Yeah, but back to the fasting thing, since you mentioned that, it's a trip, man. Like a lot of times when I'm fasting, I notice that I'm a little more conscious. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, in the fasted state, like I find myself being a little more like thoughtful, you know what I'm saying, and kind of like processing. And like, man, sometimes I don't even want to break my fast because I feel so good in a fasted state. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, I don't know how you feel when you fasting
it depends on
the
the
day.
activities I'm doing for that day, realistically. Because
Yeah,
I'm such a small person, I ain't got a lot of body fat. So if I'm
yeah,
extremely active, I actually don't feel good at all.
yeah, yeah,
Like I need something, some kind of source of fuel. Because if I don't, I might feel like I'm shaking or something, or get lightheaded,
yeah,
whatever the case may be. Because you know me, I'm always fucking moving and busy and doing extra
yeah.
stuff. So it just
But you
depends.
always,
Like the times I've planned to fast,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'm gonna just drink water, drink water, drink water. It hasn't been hard.
Yeah,
It really hasn't.
yeah. It's funny though. You at the same time, you're not really a big eater like that either. And so
But
it's
it
like,
depends on the time of. Really, with me, it's just the time of the year. I feel like
yeah, I feel like it's around this time
summer.
of year I grub.
That's what I'm saying. Like right now, I've been eating constantly today, but in the summer
Yeah,
times, I don't eat that much.
yeah.
I think
You
it's
know,
just
we
the natural. I don't know what you would call it.
I think it got to do with climate change. Like, I think when it's a colder environment, I think you just pack on the calories. I don't
You
think
need
you
to
eat. I
keep
don't think,
them
yeah,
too.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because we was up, like I said, we was up in Big Bear this past week, bro, and I just found myself grubbing. And I told Brie, I was like, I know I gained a couple pounds, like, but I worked out while I was there and everything, like, and I wasn't overeating by my, what I'm saying, standards. Like I was eating when I was hungry, but I just every time I was done eating, I felt like I was hungry again, and I was just kind of
Yeah,
like, man, I wonder if because I know that we get addicted to eating too. You know what I'm saying? You could get it,
yeah,
you could be addicted to eating, but it's a trip. Like that's the trade off for me. I noticed like I felt like not to just make it about that, but like I felt like whenever when I'm drinking and stuff like that, I notice I don't overeat because I don't, you know what I'm saying? I just be like, I
hmm
ain't trying to like have to drink a whole bottle to fill it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I might have a little meal or something. And I just get my sip on. And like now that I'm not, I just be like, damn, I'm hungry and I'm just throwing it back. Pause. But I'm getting my but I'm getting my, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting my weight up. Like I feel like I'm getting my size back a little bit. So it's like it's crazy how a lot can change, man. How was your past weekend, man? How was everything?
Hold on, before you finish with the fasting, it
Yeah.
was a video I was watching of this doctor. This is like the 1930s or 40s or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the 50s. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he was under the impression that to have a complete diet, you had to have like vegetables, right?
Yeah.
You needed leafy greens in your diet and all that kind of crap. But
Yeah.
anyways, this American doctor, he went to where do the Eskimos live? I can't think of it right now.
And I mean,
Alaska.
Alaska or something?
Yeah, Alaska. He went there and lived with them for a year,
Yeah.
and their diet is fish. They
Yeah.
eat a lot of fatty fish, and water. That's it. And he, at the end of it, he wrote a book about it, and he's like, it was the most healthiest he had ever been. He only ate protein and fats, and he felt extremely good. And his conclusion wasn't that okay, you only should just eat proteins
Yeah.
and fats. His conclusion was you need to be eating whole foods
Yeah.
and water and eliminating all the BS. Pretty much.
Yeah.
This was like 1950s.
Yeah.
And in the same video, they were showing like in the 60s, 70s, and right before the 80s hit, the household, the average American household, 90% of their, diet was like whole foods.
Yeah.
And pretty much it's whole foods.
Yeah.
And then like in the shift in the 80s, when you start having these quick, fast meals and McDonald's became popular and Burger Kings and all this shit became popular.
Yeah.
The diet changed, and then it was like less vegetables and whole foods. Yeah. And then you start seeing the fucking microwave dinners and shit.
Yeah.
And now it's like 75% of people's refrigerator is processed, ultra processed foods, cereals, which you shouldn't be eating. It's just like, damn, how we go from 90% of our food business to 75 marketing?
Let me ask you a question while you're right there. Do you feel like cooking is becoming popular again since like so many people have gained like notoriety through like social platforms and being able to make a living and profiting off of that? Do you feel like it's inspiring people to like cook meals again? Because I see a lot of like I'm a foodie by my own standards. Like I said, I watch a lot of like food channels, like a lot, especially shorts. Like I love seeing people be like, "Yo, today we making brisket bites, chop up the onion and all that."
You was watching Cooking with Kyle and it inspired you.
I ain't watching none of that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her doing her thing, but I ain't even gonna get into that, but I ain't really even tripping on her like that. You know what I'm saying? But no, like, do you think that like that's inspiring people to kind of get back in the kitchen again? Because I still cook, not a crazy amount. My wife does majority of the cooking, but like cooking has always been kind of fun to me. You definitely
fun, relaxing.
Yeah, take flight.
And I think so, like not overall, but I think it's helping people get back into the kitchen. Plus, I think like with like social media, and you got some of these doctors and nutritionists on here putting out the real about all these additives and things that's harmful to us. It's kind of making you question what you put in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
I ain't about to say pause or nothing.
Yeah, I feel you. But you still said it kind of. You just did, but no, I'm messing with you. Nah, but like I said, I mean that's cool. That is the cool thing about like just being in the information era. It's just kind of like people see what they want to look like a lot more. You know what I'm saying? You probably, if Arnold Schwarzenegger lived in your neighborhood and you see that dude jogging down the street or something, you probably like, damn, I want to work out. Yeah, but I mean, but if you live in the area, I'm pretty sure back then you live in an area where like it was just common for people to not, fitness is not a thing, then you're not going to prioritize your health. So it's like that's the cool thing to me about just being able to open up your phone and be like, how do you get six pack? And just a million videos on ways you could obtain it, or like what should I eat if I want to burn fat? And it's a lot of information. So I think it's like
sometimes just an overload though.
Yeah. It's crazy, dog. I'll get into the topic of like self-control, right? Because everything we talk about, and it's funny, like we didn't tonight, we didn't have like a hey man, we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna talk about that. We just talking like me and Birdman do a lot of times. Like, we'll get on the phone on a Tuesday at like 11:26 and talk for like 2 hours about random shit. And so it's like, we kind of talking about all these different topics, and like you could tie self-control into all of these topics. Like before I even ask the question, like how important is self-control like to you? And I mean, before you even answer that, I'll give people a little bit of like background on Hawk, slight background on Hawk. Like, Hawk is the type of person on prom night, he wouldn't hang out with us because he had a track meet the next day. You know what I'm saying? And he was adamant about, we had to take the limo all the way back to Compton just to go back to Long Beach to go to Denny's. And it was like, yo, we should just went home. But how important is self-control, in general? Like how important do you think self-control is?
It's everything, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't be an impulsive person when you got goals and aspirations and shit.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're trying to do something, you need to have self-control, or you can say discipline.
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's vital to life and to success, I think.
Yeah.
You can't just go out there and hope and it's gonna work. It's like, nah, you need to control your habits and your daily things so you can get to where you're trying to get to.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. Like, it's I think it also aligns with like sacrifice, man. Like, in the beginning, what I'm saying? I know that we said we was gonna always do the catch up, but man, we vibing. In the beginning, I was like, I was gonna talk about just kind of like, cause I called Hawk on Saturday. I'm like, hey man, that was Saturday or was it Friday? It was Friday.
I don't know.
It was Friday.
Yeah, like, Friday, because I told you I talked to Rob on Thursday night.
Yeah, and then Saturday we did the baby reveal. So I call Hawk on Friday, and me and the fam get up to Big Bear. And like it's my first social event where like I'm trying not to have alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I seen people say like, you want to know who you really are, get sober. And it's like the whole time I've been drinking, in my life, like I know who I am. I'm not like a super duper changed person. I'm not an alcoholic either. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I'm just somebody who like to drink in social environments and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? And that increased a little bit with my pops and his situation. And so, like I said, we talking about self-control and all of that. So I called Birdman, I was feeling weak. And I called Birdman. And I called Hawk for a lot of reasons, man. Cause you know what I'm saying? Hawk definitely gonna see like the lighter side of things. You know what I'm saying? He definitely gonna make you feel like, hey man, like what's the worst that could happen? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'm not saying that Hawk is not my reliable friend who, if I need him to say no, he won't say no. Or did I say that right? You get my point. Yeah. I know I could call you I know the severity of the situation. So it's like, if I'm calling you, I'm like, man, so he talked about it. He like, man, Hawk, like, man, you straight. You don't need it. He like, man, just get out the store, man. You good. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm sitting there going back and forth with him like, yeah, it's just one drink though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got a point, man. It's one fucking drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? How bad it's going to be? You work out, you take care of yourself, you work hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, nah, I'm like, you know what? My girl has some Hennessy. I'm like, if I want something to drink, I'll just have a shot of that. You know? And so I'm at the crib and we playing spades and charades. We all playing games and whatever. And I just remember like having this overwhelming like boredom, in the social environment. And it's not with my family, man. We always have a good time.
It ain't boring at all. It's live.
Right. I just felt bored. And so I went in the room and I got to looking up all of these motivational clips and stuff, the same shit I was talking smack about. And it's like, yo, around the 3-week mark, you had this boredom. And I don't want to make this whole episode about, trying to be sober and all of that. But we talking about self-control. And so, dog, I'm sitting there at the table. And I'm like, I tell my girl, I'm like, go pour me one. She like, nope, I ain't getting it. Whoa. And then she like, if you want something, you can have some of this. And I went to take a sip. I'm talking about, it touched my tongue. And I was like, nah. I was like, no, don't do this shit. Like, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But it tripped me out. It tripped me out, bro. Like, I was really struggling with that shit. By the second day, I was a lot cooler because even that night, I had a moment where I was just like, bro, like, you cooler than this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What helped you too, I think, is you wasn't around a lot of drinkers. Like, you wasn't around Robert, Jason, myself. I'm not a big drinker. I had a drink tonight. I had a double shot. Yeah. Some Coke. That's all I had.
But we're not big drinkers though.
I'm just people that got it. But I'm gonna sip and just enjoy it. But anyways, I think what really helps you is the fact that you wasn't around a whole group of people that just pound liquor and they not wild. Like, who really drink? Bree.
Yeah.
And King. And Ken. And that's it.
Yeah. You know what I will say is though, it was like 50-50 because not being around them is like they don't understand like what it's like to have one when you in them environments, how it just kind of make the night a little smoother for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it is what it is. It's not like that big of a deal, but we talk about self-control. Like I hit Josh up and I was like, hey, bro, like I'm still going strong. And he said something to me that like I really appreciated. He was just like, hey man, like, we built different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit. And we was having this conversation talking about leadership, and I was just kind of like, man, it's crazy how like, he said to me, he was just kind of like, you never know who you inspiring around, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of focused on whatever my purpose was for it. But and I spoke to it in the beginning, like, okay, I feel like I'm seeing changes. I'm like, man, dude, I'm like, what can come of me if like I just prioritize my health? Like however you look at it, it's like if I prioritize my health, it's like most people look at us and they see health. You know what I'm saying? I could say that humbly, like, well, not humbly, whatever, but I could say that, what I'm saying, in a way that's not like braggadocious. It's just kind of like, hey man, we look younger than we are, but it's because we take care of ourselves. We active intentionally, like we taking care of ourselves. So it's like, hey, a little bit of this, a little bit of that every now and then. But I'm like, man, what if I just decided to like really do everything to the best of my ability, right?
To the max.
Yeah. And I just understand now, like, it takes uh a supreme level of like self-control and awareness, and also just kind of like you have to really, really, what's the word, man? You have to really be resilient, because like I don't want to stop hanging around people that drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like shit, and I see some people say that, like, man, I was like, no, like, I love all my people the same. Like, everybody is different. Everybody do what they do. What I do has nothing to do with everybody else. So it's like, I'm going to still be in them environments. That was my first test, but I feel really good about myself. The fact that like I didn't do what I was trying not to do. And that's my own personal thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so it's just like, man, like I really, really like, wanted to kind of speak to that and just talk about self-control, because it's like, man, I see a lot of people struggle with like self-control. I see a lot of people who like set out to do things, and you know what I'm saying, and just kind of give in to like their own mentality, like their own mind. It's not nobody else. Like, how you was like, I wasn't around drinkers. It's like, bro, nobody was encouraging me to drink, and nobody was making me feel bad for
Was
ever
it?
drinking. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It wasn't even a thing to nobody else. They just was kind of like in the beginning, like I just found myself kind of chilling in the room a lot. And then like just fighting the urge when it got real social. And I was like, you know what? Every time I feel that feeling, I'm gonna go work out. So I did a couple tour-a-days while we was out there and everything. It was like a little workout gym in the garage. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm starting to see a little definition again. I'm like, all right, shit. Like, all right, this what it's gonna be, man. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely wanted to speak to that, man.